Hey everyone, welcome to Product Wise. Today in this video, we'll just walk over what Figma just released with Figma AI. This is a feature that was, pretty much a lot of people were expecting during this year's config, and they've just released a bunch of different things that you can do with AI. But just before we go into sort of the AI features, I just want to give you a quick intro to the new sort of interface that Figma has introduced here. So you can see it doesn't look that old now. It's a pretty modern and different layout. Pretty much, you see the tools have come down from the top, sort of left to this bottom here. This is sort of the more modern look of most of these SaaS applications. So Figma is also sort of jumping into that, and it looks pretty slick, to be honest. And it's pretty responsive as well. It's very flexible, so you see you can really move around different sort of panels here, things like that. There's a lot of different features they announced. Um, and one of the biggest features here is that you can see like they have now put in inside the toolbar the dev mode, which is this sort of toggle. You can just go into dev mode through this, and this interesting star feature, which we have seen before in FigJam, but now there's the Figma AI within sort of the basic Figma design file. So let's dive into this and see what we can do with this. So one of the biggest features that Figma has come up with is make designs. So what is make designs? It's basically what it says. You can literally make designs in Figma with prompting, right? So that's what most people wanted. But it's also sort of a scary feature because, if Figma can really design everything for you, then do you really need a designer? But I'm sure there's a lot of value that designers bring, and this is just an AI beta feature that you can see right now. But really see like what is the capability of this feature at present that Figma has just released. So we're gonna go out there and try this today. All right, so just click on make designs, and it'll give you sort of this prompting sort of text field here where you can type just a general prompt, whatever app, whatever website you want. Um, and you can see there are also some suggestions about to-dos, onboarding, travel app, things like that, right? And you have this sort of library section here, so you can sort of see different sort of mobile kits, app kits. So you can basically bring up designs from the app kits and mobile kits if you don't want to sort of generate something new. So this tool really is focused towards helping you get out of this sort of stuck zone where you don't have any ideas that are, you're not able to start really quickly. So it's sort of helping you go out of this sort of blank canvas and take one step further, right? So let's try this prompting feature. Maybe I'll start by typing design food tracking app for my pet dog, right? Let's see. So it says it's working, and we'll see how long it takes, right? So it's just about like 5 seconds that it started doing it, which is really nice because I don't have to just keep waiting. It's just showing me live what it's working on. And so it says pet food tracker, daily food intake, and it's generating image, right? It's generating 7 images. Okay, interesting. So it's not just one sort of screenshot, like one sort of above the fold view. Even if it's sort of a mobile app, it's like a full screen here, which is really nice. Oh, it's done. So it's I would say that was less than 30 seconds to generate this. Um, all right, let's see sort of the details here. Interesting. Okay, so huh. You can see something very interesting here is like, yeah, it is definitely tracking calories, but it's also tracking time, which I don't know if that's what I was expecting here, because I don't think I was expecting how much time it takes for my pet dog to eat whatever he's eating, or I was just expecting that I would be having an app where I would put in calories, right? So I think you can see that this is definitely not going to give you exactly what you want. But yeah, it has nutrient breakdown, calories, more of the things that I was expecting, right? And then, yeah, add food, view history, so buttons. Interesting. You can see that there's some sort of issues with sort of the design here. It's not really perfect, which is interesting. Interesting. Okay, so as a first sort of try here, it's very interesting. It has named the layer pretty well, which is really good. And I have a few options here now, so I can make these changes. And these are just like different themes. These are not just colors, but you can see it's also changing the typeface, and the whole theme of itself, right? So it's a full on different kinds of themes, right? This is pretty interesting. Let me see. Oh, I like this dark mode. You know what? I like this typeface a little more, so I'm going to keep this. And interesting, you can actually, like, very interesting, like you have used ChatGPT and other sort of these applications before, and it's very nice when they can, you can have a conversation with these applications, right? And it builds on that context. It gives you answers repeatedly based on the context that it's building over time. And you can see that Figma has really clearly utilized this, and you can basically make changes to the same thing. You just have to have it selected. You go in here, you can make different changes, like you can change the color here, I guess. You can change the rounding. So if I want to reduce the rounding, that's interesting. It's not working perfectly, I would say, but it's definitely working something. Huh. Okay, interesting. All right. Okay. So you can see these little box corners, these are all sort of being affected by this. So this is um, really nice of an effect. Yeah. I would say though, what I feel like it's not completely smooth. It's like it's taking some time, although it might just be because it's in beta right now. This is the spacing between things. Okay, very interesting, right? Very, very interesting. And typeface, right? And you also have, let's see, let's go back to make changes here. Let's look at this dark mode thing. Can we make it this dark mode? Yes, right. So this looks amazing, right? This looks really great. So I was really preferring that dark mode, but now I have this theme and I have this dark mode, right? So you really get a lot of customizations right from this sort of AI feature here, right? You can obviously go out of this and do your own design work here, customize a lot better than this, but this is already giving that starting point that you needed, right? This is really great. And if you are, wanting to do some changes that you can't really do just through these stylings, you can actually use the prompt again, right? So maybe I'm going to say add a profile picture of my pet dog, right? Let's see. Let's see how long this takes to just make that change and, where it adds this pet dog picture. Okay, it did something. It says done, but I don't actually see anything happening here. Okay, interesting. Interesting. You can see that it has added a picture here. For sure, it's a profile picture. It's sort of this bottom section here. So that's pretty interesting. So maybe I don't want it at the bottom here. I want it at the sort of top part. Uh, let's say add the profile picture on the top navigation bar. Let's see if it actually understands sort of these terms like navigation bar or not. Okay, it did something. It did something. Let's see. Let's go there, right? Okay, I see the top navigation bar. I'm not sure what changes it made. Okay, interesting, right? So that's very interesting that you can see like it's not completely perfect like any AI has been so far that we've seen in Figma outside of Figma. So this is completely expected, and this sort of proves that even in terms of the UI, it's not generating that perfect UI that you want, and it's really helping you get out of that blank canvas screen, and you're really taking it just one step further that you have something to work with. This is really great. We can make more changes, but I want to explore sort of the other AI features here as well. So this was make design, and you can actually make websites and things like that full on with this, which is really, really great. Um, what I'll do is I'll show you something else here, which is basically rewrite this, right? So you can go in here and you can say like, okay, I don't want it to say daily food intake. Maybe I'll select the specific text here, right? I'll go back into the AI. I'll say rewrite this, and I'll just say something else, right? Let's see. Right. Let's see what happens. Okay, that was interesting. It says daily nutrition tracker now. And before it was just saying daily food intake. So daily food intake and daily nutrition tracker, which is very interesting. Yes, it does change and it does understand the specific context. That's very nice. Um, let's see what else we can do with this. This is really nice. We can rename layers. So that's another interesting feature here, which is basically you have these different layers, right? And you can sort of see all of these different things on the left hand side. You can see all of these different layers, which are already pretty well named actually. But you can always improve the layering names. So I just like this specific sort of auto layout thing here, and I'll just say rename layers, right? Let's see what happens to the layers here. Oh, interesting, interesting. It's changing the layer names. Okay. Oh, really nice. So you can see like it literally changed every sort of name here. Uh, yeah, that's really nice, right? So it really recognized the icons and things like that and really renamed everything. So again, this is sort of a pet peeve. No one likes naming layers all the time, but you know, AI is really solving that. That's a big feature here. That's great. Now let's see if we can translate somewhere, right? So let's say we want to translate it, and we want to translate, let's say we want to translate it into English, UK. Let's see what happens. What's the difference here? Did something, right? So it's pretty interesting. You can see it didn't do much here, but it did try to change it from English to English, but we'll see if it actually changes to some other language here as well. So I'll go back to selecting this whole thing and then say translate to, I'll do, let's say, I'll just do a random language here like Swedish. Right, let's see how much time this takes. Very interesting, very interesting. So it's changing, it's really translating things. It's really nice. Okay, that's very interesting, right? So it can really change all of these things, and you can see that the whole thing has been changed to sort of Swedish. I don't know if this is all correct or if it's all wrong. If someone's Swedish here, just comment on the video if this is actually correct or not. So this is really interesting, right? So that's a great sort of feature here as well. So it's really helping you start really strong with your designs here, sort of renaming layers, translating, rewriting things, making designs, right? As well as sort of making changes and making an image as well. So this is a really strong feature that sort of Figma has brought in, and this is all sort of a very new feature, very sort of basic feature right now, and I'm sure like Figma will work much more to develop this. And right now they're using the OpenAI sort of models for their LLMs, and they're also using sort of Amazon's, I believe. I don't exactly remember the name of the model, but they're using one of those models as well to sort of try this out. And I've heard from the CEO, as he mentioned during config, that they will be trying out different models as well to sort of make sure this is really optimized in the future. So this is really great, right? So I want to try something else just before we close this video, which is like I gave a really specific, prompt here. Is I need a dog sort of, food tracker for my dog. And I was very good at sort of creating this. But what if I have, let's say, a design problem that I want to start with, right? I don't really have a very clear, specific solution in mind. Let's say let's say make designs, and I'll say like I know that it's a SaaS application that I want to create, but there's something in mind. Let's say design. Let's just give a random, very broad prompt here. Design a SaaS product landing page, right? And let's see what does it actually come up with an idea as well for me. It's great. It's again like just about 5 to 10 seconds before it actually starts doing it, and then it's working. Very interesting. So it has come up with a product that's called Sassify, and it's definitely building a full-on website landing page, which is great. You can see on the left-hand side, the layers are being actually generated, which is really nice. It's all in sort of auto layout already, which helps a lot. And as you can see, like the one of the biggest things with this whole feature is that it takes more time just to generate these images here. So if it's actually generating an image, that's what's taking more time. But the rest of the design is actually happening pretty fast, right? So the overall sort of prompt to design is taking about 30 seconds, I would say. But the design is actually being done in the first 15 seconds, and the next 15 seconds is more sort of the spending time with all the images, right? So it has like 8, 10 images, which are generated again with AI. So none of these images are actually real. These are all sort of generated with AI, which is super cool. And it's very interesting that I gave it sort of a broad sort of prompt, and it hasn't come up with a very specific solution. It has come up with a very broad solution here. It's like it has API access, cloud storage, drag and drop, live chat. I have no idea what this specific product is. So that's a bit confusing, but that's okay. That's nice. I mean, I still have a very, very good starting point, right? If like I would probably have an idea of what my product is when I'm trying to design a landing page, and this really gives me that strong starting point. But again, as you would notice that this might not be the most optimized landing page, because we know for landing pages, there's a lot of other things that go into like what a good user experience is, right? Like, so it's just one big headline, which is like transform your workflow with this and this, but it doesn't have sort of a subheading. It has a call to action, which is really good in terms of UX, but there's a lot of things that might be missing here in terms of what we want in terms of the user experience itself. So this feature, I would say, is like very much UI focused and doesn't follow the best UX principles. But again, the goal of the feature, which has been again and again said, is to make sure that you don't have a blank canvas and you can really have that one step taken already by the Figma app itself to sort of get you started strong, right? So that's really great. I would change the design like this, which is really nice. Oh, this is very interesting. And I'll say make changes. What if I ask it to come up with a real product, right? And it's almost like I'm brainstorming with it. And we have the FigJam AI already, which really helps you brainstorm a lot anyways. So let's see, it's probably going to do something similar. It's probably going to come up with a new solution. Now that I've asked it to create a product sort of by itself, I'm also interested to see if it comes within this frame itself or it creates a new frame. I don't think it will create a new frame. And that's how it's trained. Very interesting. Like when I'm asking it to make different changes, it's actually not showing me where it's making the changes, right? Like when you start doing the make design feature, like sort of you see how the design has been created, but when you're making changes on top of it, you're not really seeing where the changes are being made. And oh, this just failed. So that's very interesting. So something went wrong. I don't think anything here at all has been changed. Very interesting, right? So let's go back and let's say something else. Come up with a cybersecurity solution, right? So we're going to get just one level more specific and try to see if that helps this actually create something, right? So we have not given exactly what the solution is, but we've given it, can you build me a website for something about cybersecurity? And yes, it's making those changes now, right? So it's changed the title here, like cyber secure specifically. It has changed the sort of headline here, which is really nice. Wow. And you can see it has also changed sort of these sort of feature previews here, like sort of protect your data and like sort of ensure compliance with the industry standards, which is really nice. And so it's really going a level deeper. It's not just the UI, it's very much UI focused, but it can take it just a level deeper so that you don't actually have to go out of Figma and go to ChatGPT or some other application and okay, say like, okay, what's a good way to say this or what's a good headline for my website or something like that. You can do it literally here, right? And we can say like, okay, let's change this specific headline here. I want to say something like let's say if I'm saying like not using the rewrite feature, but I'm let's say using this make changes feature directly to say like change this headline to something more specific. right? So I'm asking to do something more specific, but I'm not saying what the specific thing is. Let's see if I can do that. Wow, interesting. Streamline your workflow with our all-in-one SaaS solution. So it has completely gone out of the cybersecurity space, but it does, in a sense, sort of make it a little bit more specific, right? So this is really good. And I think in terms of testing this, like, like as a first go on this sort of whole sort of product landing page and the whole AI feature that Figma has, I think I'm really impressed by what it can do. Like I really do not have to go out of Figma into ChatGPT all the time. So this is definitely doing its job, and I'm very excited to see what Figma has to bring in the future to this feature. But I think, as people get access to this, I really hope, and I'm really excited to see what people try with this new feature. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. If you liked this video, please hit like and subscribe to this channel, and I'll make more videos as Figma releases new features. We'll test them out. We'll try to see what those features are able to do, the capability, and sort of what they're working on top of.